What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for jumping into another video. My name is Josh, and I'm just your average Joe day trader. AJDT community, how did you do today? What did we end up doing in the stock market today? I'm going to tell you that today's Wednesday, August 20th. It's after 8 p.m., and I just finished kind of going back and looking through my trades for the day and sort of understanding what happened, okay? The market literally took a big, giant dump today. It was the biggest red candles I had seen in a long time. Matter of fact, it brought me back to the April 2nd Liberation Day, and we didn't even have the tariff talk Liberation Day. Today was just one of those days in the market reacting to all kinds of different news, all kinds of stuff going on. I'm not even going to go through a lot of it because you all know exactly what's happening. It's the same things we keep talking about, but the market is definitely not responding and not reacting well to all of what's going on, including Jerome Powell being in the summit, and we are waiting anxiously for Friday to come so that he can speak. And he's talking at 10 or 10:30 Friday morning. And you all know, I say it all the time, when this guy gets in front of the podium, this goes in the toilet. So we need to prepare for that. There's a lot of YouTubers and a lot of analysts right now that are saying, hey, if you're in stocks and you're green, you probably should go ahead and hedge. You should go ahead and cash out certain things. I'm going to give you a little bit of a different perspective, and then I'm going to show you what happened today. My perspective is you shouldn't run from the stock market. You shouldn't be cashing out and going to powder because of some volatility and potentially the market running down. We all know, if you are an experienced trader, day trader, swing trader, long term, you all know that August, September, up to about the 2 weeks in October, sometimes less, sometimes all the way through to that point, the market runs down. This is that point in time in the year that these are rough months. There's some more red than there is green, and it is natural and it happens. I'm going to give you the perfect example of what happened today on one of those stocks that I, for a minute, had that feeling like maybe I should get out of this stock. Okay. So look at the chart I'm showing you here. Yes, I'm going to talk for a minute about Palantir. Palantir, for me, is a long-term hold. I'm in it. I started at about $100 per share. I then bought more shares at 120 something dollars per share. It ran all the way up to $190 per share. And on the way back down, I've been buying more. I bought more at 170 something dollars per share, at $159 per share. And then look what happened with this drop, $142. Now, somebody that I trade with regularly said to me this morning, Josh, if you're in a good position and your average is still higher than the low, you should get out, sell the stock, and then buy back in at the low. And, that way you are taking advantage of the dip, right? Okay, but that's running from the market. I don't like to run from the market because if you see what happened today is once we hit this bottom, 142, which is generally, there's a lot of stocks with this huge red and green V, which is kind of cool. I like the picture of it. But this beautiful green run back up all the way through the post market and sitting at $158.25 right now. Okay, fully recovered. What benefit would I have had by selling it all off at $149 and it dropped all the way down to 142, and I freak out about, is it have more to go? Because everybody kept saying, the bleeding's not done, Josh. The bleeding's not done. It's going to bleed more. We're looking at levels at 136, 133, 129, 127. So I would have waited, and guess what? I'd be sitting right now looking at this stock at $159 a share, and I wouldn't even be in it. And now what do? What if this doesn't drop back down to where I would have sold it at 148 bucks or 146 bucks or $144, right? So you cannot always run from a position. You cannot always run from the market. The people that profit the most are the day traders and the investors like us that wait for the drop, right? At $142, what do you guys think Josh did? Anybody want to take a guess? Yes, I bought more. I didn't sell it. I bought more to change my average, and look at this beautiful run up. Now, did I know this was going to turn around and run back up today like that? No, I didn't. Do you ever know that? Well, you do if you're paying attention to support levels. And this is not my TradingView account, but my support levels, resistance levels, which I do have some here to give me some gauges, right? But I can see here these two candles and then this fully engulfing green candle, which gives me the basic idea, hey, if the next candle runs green, it's going to go in an upward direction. Well, that's exactly what happened. And guess what? That happened for most stocks today. So what I wanted to share is just don't run away from it. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you when to buy, when to sell, what to do. I'm just telling you that when you have fear in the market and you sell everything, somebody else is going to buy it at the bottom and they're going to make all that money that you sold out on. And they're now in profit because you sold it. Okay. There's a lot of YouTubers. Chris Sane, I have a lot of respect for. He says, when there's blood in the street, it's time to eat, right? I think that's what he says. There's other YouTubers that talk about, bicep over tricep, bicep over tricep. Let's go, Henry. Okay. And basically all those key phrases are about buying it when it's down and making money. Today was an amazing opportunity to buy a dip and make money and get up. And I'm going to show you how I did some of that today. And I'm going to show you what the rest of the market looked like today. I do have some notes I want to follow to make sure that we are running and looking at together. First, let's look at the market. How did we close? S&P 500 closed down 0.24%. The Dow Jones closed up 0.4%. And the NASDAQ closed 0.67%. Okay. And that's exactly what I had on my list to share with you. So not a very good day for the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, but an update for the Dow Jones. And there were a lot of stocks that were running today. A lot of retail stocks, okay, were running today, except for one. And I'm going to get to it. That had earnings. And man, is it time to buy the stock where it is? But we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit and show you some of these stocks because I want to try to find them all for you. So I'm going to look at our Average Joe August list. And the first one I wanted to show you is HIMS. Okay. And look at this. Look at HIMS, even in the post market. Okay. So it followed the S&P 500. Which, by the way, let's look at that real quick first so you can see the S&P 500. Okay, that's not it. I don't have a position in S&P 500. Okay, but hard run down. Remember, my yellow line is tracking the S&P 500 on all my charts. So obviously it looks like I'm doing something weird to the S&P 500 chart. I'm not. All the way down and then pretty much, okay, draw a line all the way up to the close. And if you stay within the S&P 500, up and down, up and down, up and down, but basically finished from 632.96 to this back to high, 639. Now, let's go back to those charts. Let's go to the Average Joe Day Trade list. HIMS, same drop, almost the same kind of run, but the S&P 500 line for me doesn't show it as strong. It just gives directionally up, down, up, down. Okay. But hard run down with the market. We all thought, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. The market's crashing. I'm sure there's one YouTuber that I really can't stand. I'm sure right now he's standing in his driveway with his Ferraris behind him, talking about how he has no friends at 57 years old. And be prepared, Donald Trump is crashing the entire world. And I'm not political. I don't care who's in the White House. I make money no matter what president's in the seat. I make money no matter what administration's in the seats. I make money as a retail day trader because I understand my support and resistance levels. I understand my candlestick training, and I follow the trends and I follow the money. That's how I make money. I don't care who's in the White House. But HIMS, okay, look at the trend. It followed the S&P 500 today beautifully from $40.93 sitting in the aftermarket into now 24-hour market at a high of $44.10, overnight $43.95. Very nice for HIMS. Could have made some really, really good money for HIMS. Now, I will share with you that most of us, myself included, by the time we came back into the charts to kind of see what was going on, this is where we were right here. And I was thinking in APLD, all right, and I'm going to show that one to you because I want to talk about that one. I was thinking in APLD, as it was halfway up this line, is there a chance to make any money? And that's the 5 minutes. Let me go to 15 because that's really more where I live. Is there a chance now when it got here to still make money? And I, for a minute, said, I don't know. I don't know if there's any more gas in the tank. Is it going to reverse? And a lot of us, very experienced traders, said, this is not done bleeding yet. It's a fake out. Be careful for the bear trap. It's going to turn around and run down. Guess what, everyone? It did not. It did not. It continued to run. And if you played APLD, which I did not. 1403, one of the first days that I have to admit I didn't trade it, and I was in some other things, and I'll share that with you. But 1403 to a high of 1580. Okay, that's basically $1.76, $1.77 per share. This could have been life changing on 1,000 shares or 1,500 shares or 2,000 shares. All right, maybe not life changing, but it definitely could have changed and influenced somebody's account. Let's stay on track. Tesla. All right, Tesla also same thing. Look at this explosion, hard run down. 314, got a chance to buy back into it, ran all the way up to this high, closed at 323.90, sitting right now at 324.22 in the after and 323.82 in the aftermarket 24 hours, overnight 24 hours. That's where we are right now. Let's look at AMPX, because you know I love AMPX. Now, AMPX is no longer on my day trade list. It's not one that I am regularly day trading. It's a long-term hold for me because there's not, now you could day trade this one, but there's not a whole lot, enough movement for me. Although today and 2 days in a row, hard run down. It did recover with everything else. So you did have a chance to make some money in it today. But for me, AMPX is one I'm going to look back at one day and say, dang, I'm so glad that I had a whole bunch of AMPX shares as a long-term investment, because that's part of what I'm going to live off of for my retirement when I'm super old and more gray. I'm still gray, but more gray. All right. I also want to share with you, and we talked about Palantir. Let's talk about Soundhound. Soundhound was one that I really was concerned about. I did buy a position in Soundhound today. For the life of me, I cannot recall where I got in, but when I got in, I was sitting flat here thinking, okay, nice, was sitting at a nice level of support. And then it started dropping down and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I'm now in negative profit. I was a couple $100 down, but I'm like, it's okay. I was 500 shares in. It's Soundhound. It'll recover. And then what did it do? It started coming up right before 4 o'clock and in the aftermarket. And look at this beautiful candle in the 24-hour market now. And yes, I did sell and get out of this and take a nice profit on it. And I'm no longer holding it. Wash, rinse, repeat for tomorrow. Could it run more tonight through the 24-hour? Yes, it could. Could it turn around on the next candle? Look, it just jumped up again. Could it turn around and dump again? Yes, it could. But I'm out. And I have no problem with this because see profit, take profit, wash, rinse, repeat. Soundhound was beautiful today. Target. Okay, so let's talk about Target for a minute. You can already see where I'm going, right? Look at this. Target had earnings this morning. Target opened up at 6:45 in the morning with their earnings report and basically had a low of $93.78 and a high of $110.04. Now, this is a 15-minute candle. So if you caught this candle right, you had a chance because it was already somewhere here, let's say at the $104 range. So somewhere in here, you could have taken the drop and probably made about $5 a share, maybe $10 a share, depending on how you played the earnings. Or you could have lost a lot of money depending on when you got into it, if you went in high, and now we're sitting bag holding it at $93. But this is where I like Target. And this is not just earnings. This is they replaced their CEO with their COO, who's now going to be their new CEO. And that announcement did not go over very favorably. And apparently a lot of people don't like this new guy coming in. So it was not very favorable. So it kind of crashed Target for a little bit. But $93 and it closed at $98.69. And it's still holding in the overnight at $98.26. $5 a share. Could you have made some money in Target this morning? Yes. Okay. And I know a lot of people that played calls on it, and there's a lot of people still playing calls because they still have a lot of room to go to $107 or 107, right? 106.93. So there's still room to go from $98. Not financial advice. And if you notice, it's sitting right here on a drop down. So we'll see what happens because people are still not happy about the earnings and the change of leadership. but Target was one you should have been looking at. 3 more to go, and then you're going to get to my main one. I want to share something awesome. So MU is another one that everybody should put on their radar and should be looking at. So according to my friend, he says that MU, every earnings runs up potentially to about $130. Now, I cannot guarantee that, and that is not financial advice. I am looking with some of his guidance at playing calls and then playing puts, because apparently you play one because it's going to run up to 130, and then you have a put because it's going to run back down to 115 or 117, 118. So we'll see how that works. I'm going to take a chance on it with him. He's training me on options. We'll see how this works. But he swears by this every single time, every earnings. Do your own homework and your own due diligence. And I'm going to go back and look at their earnings reports for the last several quarters to see if that's true. But he is a very good trader, and I trust him. So we'll see what happens. But take a look at MU, Micron, a lot of good news and stuff going on with them right now. Anyway, also, UNH, United Health Group. I've been talking about it. This is another one. Everybody that you talk to right now is talking about calls for UNH. Long dated, January, June 2026, whatever they're deciding. But even if you love shares, like I like shares, I've been waiting for a low. Did I purchase here at $295? No, because I thought the bleeding was still happening. So I didn't. But we believe there may be another bit of a pullback. Sitting at $300 a share right now is not too bad. And this would be a long-term hold for me. So put this one on your radar too. Tons and tons of people talking about it. And that's just how it is. Okay, the last one that I want to share with you is one that I just talked about and I just launched a video on, and I'm going to talk about it again. Your good friend and mine, BBAI. Now, I just did an update, and interestingly enough and funny that once I finished the update and launched that video today, BBAI comes out with big news. So guess what? Guess what happened to BBAI today? For all of you that are bag holding or are investors in it long-term, like I am, and waiting for it to go back to an explosion, they're going to get better. And there's potential for it to go quicker. Here is why. They signed a deal today for the naming rights, where they entered the NFL and now are with the Washington Commanders, the old Washington Redskins. The Washington Commanders football team now will have all over their field and an entire section and outside their building and signs and posters everywhere and on commercials and advertising, BBAI. They're going to be advertised all over the place because they are now have naming rights with the Washington Commanders. Now, why is that good? You say, Josh, okay, there's tons of sports clubs that have different companies' names, and sometimes you don't even know who they are. And a lot of people won't even know who BBAI is or BBAI is at first once the name goes up. But they're in Washington, D.C. Hello, I've been talking about Kevin, former director of Homeland Security and former director of Border Patrol. And he has an assistant that's part of BBAI who's also former government from the law enforcement side and a Trump supporter. And hello, Hegseth with his, I don't remember, $360 billion in potential money that they're going to spend in the Department of Defense. Come on, everybody, do the math. Add it up. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3 in this. It lines up. 1 + 1 = 2. And you're going to make a lot of money if you do your homework and do your diligence, but you have to see the writing on the wall. Don't be asleep at the wheel. BBAI is going to be an incredible company one day, and I still believe, and I will continue to tell you, I'm bullish on it. It's the next Palantir. I know you may debate me and argue it's not anything like a Palantir, okay? I believe it is the next Palantir, and maybe 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now, it'll get there. I think it'll be quicker, but we'll see what happens. So another quick update for you that love BBAI. I know a lot of my supporters and a lot of my subscribers do. APLD, BBAI, AMPX, okay? Soundhound, Serve Robotics. There's tons of stocks there. Go to this list again and see what you want to use for your day trading. Follow the box strategy. Try my box strategy. I've got the box strategy out there in some videos, so follow that video and let me know if it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, it does. It's working for me. I use it almost every single day now. I create my box the night before. I look and see what the median average is from my support and resistance levels. And then I know which way is the stock moving through the post, pre-market, into the morning open bell. When the bell rings, which way is it going? And I'm looking to see where does it stop, where does it start, etc. And I'm making some decisions on that. I took a big chance on OKLO, OKLO, and OKLL. And just like the rest of those stocks today, okay, following the S&P 500, I had a beautiful, beautiful result for OKLO, OKLL, which is the the Defiance daily target to 2x. Also followed OKLO, so made money on both sides of the house there. Couldn't be happier about taking profit there. I also made money in SoFi. Let me show that one to you. SoFi Technologies, same thing. Look at this. Listen, everybody could have ate from the street today. Everybody could have eaten from the street today. And I like that. Chris Hain, I hope you get to see my video sometime. Yes, I'm stealing your thunder a little bit on that. I know you're the options guy, well respected. I respect you, but okay, I agree with you 100%. When there's blood in the streets, that's when we eat. All right, so thank you so much for everyone for being here. I appreciate you watching these videos. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. And I'm excited to tell you and share with you what's happening tomorrow after the market opens. We'll get an update somewhere in the day. Let's make money together. Let's get rich together. Josh out. Peace.